Hope you are watching our YouTube videos. Today, we are going to do Mother's Sri Ma Sarada Devi's universal principle of motherhood. She was nothing but the universal principle of motherhood. So today we will talk about this point, how she was the universal principle of motherhood. The Holy Mother's life and personality form a striking revelation of the universal principle of motherhood. A unique feature of her maternal love was its constitutional disinclination to notice the faults of others. In this respect, she combined in herself the nature of a loving mother and that of an innocent child. The mother, in her making her too big hearted to count the errors of her children as of any significance, and the child in her. So there was the mother in her and the child in her. The child in her insulating her vision for the perception of evil by her utter innocence. We have She had made a prayer. Where? In Vrindavan. The prayer was to have the fault finding tendencies all blotted out from her. So you have to blot out all the fault finding tendencies. That's what she prayed in Vrindavan. Her prayer was literally answered. For it is said that even if any action proceeding from the littleness of men happened to meet her eyes as she passed by, her gaze, with its characteristic innocence as of a little girl, would take no notice of it. Golapma was once scolding a maidservant. When the Holy Mother asked her the reason for it, she said, "Mother, what is the good of telling you? You cannot see the defects of others." To this, the mother replied in a mild voice, "Well, Golap, there is no want of people to see others' faults. The world will not come to a standstill if I am doing otherwise. The secret of that tremendous patience and forgiveness which she displayed in her dealings with her kinfolks and disciples was this combination of motherliness and childlike innocence in her character. To pardon the erring was an instinct with her. It was not unoften that novices who were threatened with dire consequences by the heads of the centers took refuge at the mother's feet and escaped punishment from her intersection. So she would intervene and they would be unharmed. Of course, she impressed on them also the need for obedience and discipline in the monastic order. In several cases, her way of forgiveness, fortified by her motherly reprimand, worked much better than the drastic methods. There was the instant of this brahmachari Nagain. This happened in Belur Mutt, who was afraid of Swami Shivanand, the then manager of the mutt. He was afraid that Shivanandji might expel him from the mutt for some grave mistake. He escaped to Jairambati to seek shelter with the mother, who interceded on his behalf and saved him. About this, Swami Shivanand remarked, "How is it, my boy? You went to the High Court directly to complain about us?" This incident is only one among several others and is specially cited because of its connection with great personages. Her attitude of kindly forgiveness extended even to servants guilty of misconduct. Once, Swami Vivekananda ordered a servant of Belur Mutt to be dismissed for stealing. The man went to the mother, then staying at Bospara Lane, for shelter. That evening, when Swami Premanand went from the mutt to pay his respect to the mother, she interceded on behalf of this man. Look here, Baburam, this man is very poor. It was his poverty that forced him to steal. Should Naren on that account drive him out? The world is full of misery. You are monks and realize very little of it. No need to say the man was taken back. This quality of hers, that was her motherhood. It was not restricted to her relationship with her disciples and relatives alone. It extended in a general sense to her attitude towards all. Her heart was very sensitive to the woes and sufferings of those around her. And as she herself said, she often lost herself in compassion. No one in distress went to her without being helped with food, clothing, or money according to her capacity. In Jairamvati, there was a woman named Bhavani. So, Bhavani's mother, she was called. She was not called Bhavani, she was called Bhavani's mother, who had none to look after her in her old age and sickness. She found a refuge in the Holy Mother, and it was she who looked after her till death. There was another woman in her village, belonging to the Banerjee family, who was suffering from a foul cancer in the ear. Everyone, including her kith and kin, avoided her. Her pitiful condition came to the Holy Mother's notice, and when a young disciple from Koalpara ashram went to visit her one day, she reported the matter to him with much feelings. At this, the disciple suggested that he would like to take the patient to Koalpara ashram for nursing. The Holy Mother was thrilled with joy to hear this, but the next moment she controlled herself and told him that he could take the patient there only with the permission of the president of the ashram. So the disciple went to Koalpara, came back next day with a cart after getting the necessary permission. He noticed that on seeing his arrival for taking away the woman, the Holy Mother's face was lit up with an expression of joy that he had never seen in any other face before. That day, he had a glimpse of what it meant by disinterested love. So, this is what Mother shows, disinterested love. The Holy Mother also showed keen interest in the flood, famine relief operations of the Ramakrishna mission and always encouraged her disciples to cooperate in such activities. Whenever anyone returned from relief work, she would make detailed inquiries about the sufferings of the people and the extent of the relief given to them. Her heart was always moved by the stories of human suffering. Her motherly love obliterated every vestige of vanity of position from her and endowed her with a readiness to do even menial service to others and to silently forego her own comforts and conveniences so as to save the trouble for others. It shows that her forgiveness of self, she was in the service of her disciples and her relatives. So she would forget even herself when she was in service of others. Once, Akshay Kumar Sen, a disciple of hers and the author of the metrical biography of Sri Ramakrishna, entitled the Ramakrishna Puthi, sent some vegetables to Jairambati with the coolie woman. As it was evening, when she arrived, she was allowed to spend the night at the mother's house. Being a malaria patient, she got at the night fever and she started vomiting. Before others had got up, the Holy Mother went into her room early in the morning and saw the place scattered with vomit. At once she herself removed the dust, dirt, and washed away the room with water. There was others in the house to do this work, but she knew that they would scold the woman severely and she wanted to save her from that scolding. At Jairambati, a disciple once noticed that the Holy Mother was removing her bed into the kitchen during night. So, I would just like to ask you if you can understand this picture. I'm breaking in the middle. This is a picture of the mother with Radhu, and she has been with Radhu here, as you can see, and she's going to Jairambati on a bullock cart. This is the picture. So, since she was all the time loving others, taking care of others, today we are showing her as to how uncomfortable she would be, yet she would always give comfort to others. She's sitting right at the edge of the bullock cart, as you can see, and inside Radhu is sitting so nicely. So this is about the picture. Hope you like the picture here. So this is why we have put up this picture today. I just wanted to mention it here. We shall continue. At Jairambati, a disciple once noticed that the Holy Mother was removing her bed into the kitchen during nights. On inquiry, he learned from her that she had been doing so for some days past, as she found her room too uncomfortable. Though the Holy Mother asked him not to worry about it, the disciple went into her room and found the cot and other things full of bugs. Immediately, he set himself to cleaning them. It was, however, astonished to note what was so astonishing that the Holy Mother had never told anyone about it, because she preferred herself to not to inconvenience anybody and give anybody any trouble. It was not only the erring and sinful that found consolation in her love, but even those who were held in dread by society for their wickedness. None was excluded from her motherly sympathy. When her house at Jairambati was being built, they employed a number of Muslims of a neighboring village as laborers. Originally, their profession was to rear silkworms, but owing to foreign competition, they were thrown out of employment and they took to robbing and dacoity as their means of livelihood. So, when they were employed for the construction of the Holy Mother's house, there was regular concern from all the villagers around. But afterwards, they remarked that through the Mother's grace, even these dacoits turned into devotees. Actually, one day, one of these Muslims brought her some bananas and said, "Mother, I have brought these for the master. Would you accept them?" A lady devotee who was standing nearby told her, "I know these people are thieves. Why do you accept their things from for the master?" She replied to her in a solemn tone, "I know who is good and who is bad." So even a dacoit, she loved them all. She was the mother of all. She always showed her motherhood all around. So let us pray to the mother and always ask for her blessings. She will always be with us. Hope you enjoyed today's episode. Do stay tuned to us. Like and share our videos and subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much for being with us. Namaskar.